I'm on a road that's just not even a half a mile away from my house. It's called Saturday Road. It goes for a few miles and then it connects with Sunday Road. And between the two of them, it makes a really nice loop from, like I said, a half a mile from my house, and Sunday Road loops back around to that same highway, just maybe 2 miles further down the highway. So it's a really nice run. It's slow-paced, you know, between 30 and 40 miles an hour tops. And I'm also testing the heat this afternoon. It's about 85 or 86. My thermometer says 83, but I think it's a little bit off. But I did have a destination in mind on this road. You can see some of the beautiful land right around me. It's pretty indicative of the whole area around me. This particular road will run the whole gamut. There's people here with huge spreads, 100 acres or more. And then there'll be little hermits living in 500 square foot shacks that have been standing for 100 years. But anyway, it's a beautiful area. There's a lot of thick forest just like this, some with full canopies overhead. And there's a lot of deer in here. The roads, although they're two-way, they're only one lane. I think I've said this before. The only more traveled roads or highways have actual 2 lanes of asphalt. Every single back road is like this. They only lay half the asphalt. It's one lane. So if you meet anybody coming on the other direction, everybody has to move over off to the edge of the asphalt in order to get by each other. I like that spread right there, It's just beautiful. And that little house right there, it's maybe 2-bedroom. There aren't very many brick homes up here. It's all old stick homes. But that house might have been there for 70 years, and the family owns 100 acres of just gorgeous property. Lots of barns everywhere. But there's did I say this? I had a destination in mind. There was one home in particular I wanted to put on the video. It's just a couple miles down the road, I think. And it's not that the house itself is anything special. It's where they put the house that is special. But anyway, my thermometer says 82. Maybe it is. It doesn't feel so bad. My home thermometer says it's 86. but it doesn't feel like 86. You have these little interesting houses. People live comfortably up here, and I don't mean money-wise. They're just comfortable in their own skin. It doesn't even matter what kind of homes they have. Yeah, here's somebody that lives in that little RV, and they have a couple of little outhousey kind of buildings next to it that they've decorated a la their personality. And everybody up here is just easygoing. They live where they live, and they're happy where they live. They don't want anything to do with, aspirations. Comfortable in their own skin. I've said this before too. I've never met one rude person up here. It's just a relaxed way of life. We're entering a darker forest. Oh, well, that didn't last long. I have run across a few road ragers, maybe alcoholics in pickup trucks. But beyond that, I've never met anybody in person that has ever had an unkind word. That's a beautiful spot. Right here, just coasting downhill through a little canopy of trees. Stick with me for a few minutes to show you this cool property. There's a nice spread. Like I said, I have no idea how much property they actually own. It might just look like 5 acres, but they could have 100 acres behind the house. Yeah. Really nice pond. That's something you see a lot of up here. Anybody that has any property, they all have ponds. Like in this area, there's hundreds of ponds, and are they all fed by the same spring, or are the aquifers just not very deep? I'm no expert on wells, but I always thought like mountain states would have a hard time drilling wells, but I guess not here. I mean, there's so much water here for being a mountainous state. It's, the number of lakes and rivers and ponds and springs. It must not be, must not be hard to dam a little section of your property off and make a small lake. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, so when I go through a dark section of the forest, I think of the famous forests in Lord of the Rings. Mirkwood, Fangorn. Somebody likes their rooster. Probably an advertisement for fresh eggs. A lot of people have chickens here and they sell fresh eggs right at the roadside. Hopefully it's too late in the day and a little too warm for the deer to be running around. Now I don't know exactly how well this will show up in the video. There's the property up here it's just kind of cool. Now all of that out there is part of this house property, another pond. But anyway, there's the house up there on the hill. Nothing special about the house. It's just a house. I like having a veranda all the way around it. That's really nice. I have no idea how much acreage they have, but it's what's in their front yard that's kind of cool. Like I said, I don't know how much this is going to show up, being that I'm in the bright sunshine and that's in the shade. They built their house on top of a rock plateau. And it goes on and on and on. It's just not just here. Like I said, I'm not sure if the video will do this any justice or not. But what a front yard. Wish I could zoom on this camera. I mean, it's just a dash cam, so I might not even have zoom. I'll have to read up on that. But yeah, they knew right where they wanted to build their house. That's a heck of a yard. And now I'm sure you won't be able to see this, but through the trees, that rock formation goes on and on and on. And continues on, paralleling that road right there. I can't go down there because it's posted no trespassing, so that's probably their driveway, or it goes to their driveway. Anyway, if you want to stick with me a little bit, that's fine. It's a really nice ride. Might see some interesting things. But if not, whenever you, I mean, there's some really nice, there's some elevation along the way, and some nice valleys to look down into. And yeah, it's just a really pretty area. Like I said, you'll have the equivalent of West Virginia millionaires living next to hermits. And Saturday Road ends and becomes Sunday Road. So it's already started to loop back to the highway. If you ever notice me wandering all over the place on this bike, you know, it's like I can't stay on a straight line or in my lane. It's partly my fault, but it's also partly the fault of the motorcycle. Cruisers like Harleys and whatnot, and similar bikes, you know, they have small wheels. Their wheels are only 16 inches in diameter, maybe 16 in the rear, 18 on the front, and they're fat tires. So between the small wheels and the fat tires, they have excellent straight line stability. Well, this bike isn't like that at all. It has no straight line stability. Being that it's meant to go on trails, you have to be able to pick your way along a trail at slow speeds, going through all kind of obstacles, rocks and roots and whatever. And so you don't want the bike to force itself to go straight. You want the bike to be nimble up front and twitch left, twitch right, whatever, you navigate your way through this little obstacle course. And they have a large diameter skinny front wheel. My front wheel is 21 inches in diameter and it's skinny. And that works great for off-road. But it's terrible for just a regular asphalt like this. It wants to wander all over the place. You so much as look off to the side of the road, or don't pay attention, and you cannot count on the bike just going straight. It doesn't want to do that at all. So it's very easy to lose your line. There's a little one of the local vulture species. Must have been a carcass in the road back there. Another rooster. They must have eggs. Here's some little elevation view. You wouldn't even know that I was at the top of a hill, but that far horizon, that's got to be 50 miles away at the least. But, well, I'm glad you ran in front of me when you did, and not 2 seconds later. When I ride, I try to not look left or right so much, because it's kind of irritating on the video to have the camera twitch around so much, but especially in places like this, I've got to keep my eye on everything. Places like this where you got some tall grass on the side of the road like that. The other day I saw a baby bear for like 1 second. I was rounding a corner like this and he was just disappearing into the tall grass. Like I said, I might have caught a 1 second glimpse of him, and then as he was disappearing into the tall grass, my first instinct was to slam on my brakes and try and see more of him, but then I thought better of that idea, because there'd be a mama within a few feet of him. So I'm like, nope, not gonna stop here. Get attacked by a female bear protecting its cub. This is the nicer section because they paved the road not too long ago. But if I ever want to do just a short run that's slow-paced and just pleasant, I can go a half a mile from the house and just wander around this area. And there are actually plenty of roads that run off of this that I haven't explored yet. I guess it's kind of hard to tell that I'm going uphill. From the perspective of the camera, it doesn't change. It always looks like I'm on a flat road, but I've been going uphill for a while. If you're still with me, not too far ahead would be my dream home. Oh look, it's the SS Minnow. Oop, as I almost run off the road. Yeah. There's another elevated view. I'll stand up on the pegs to see if we can see over another pond. Property could belong to this church here. I'll show you my dream house. kind of thing that I would have liked to have envisioned when I was searching for a home up here. A barn full of hay. I mean, full of hay. Lots and lots of patriotic displays are in people's yards permanently. They don't even put them up for special events. They leave them up all the time. A lot of flags, a lot of Trump banners. Old Blue Eyes. Okay. There's something I never expected to see in West Virginia. A houseboat. And it's been sitting there for a long time. They do have the equivalent of a Lake Lanier here, the huge lake that is formed by a dam. And here's my idea of my little slice of heaven right there. A modest house with a really nice garage or shop on possibly 100 acres minimum, and a really nice pond in their own valley. That's my idea of retirement right there. Well, we're just a couple of miles away from where the loop joins the highway. So, yeah, there's just a couple of things to see and a deer to almost run into. So, I'll turn it off and post it in a little while. Talk to you all later.